everyone, this is Persephone, and I'm very happy to see that despite the many losers who are coping and lying to themselves and hating on everyone who is a truth teller, MGTO, there have been some other people ready to embrace their true nature as betas destined to provide. So today this video is paid content by a 20-year-old incel named Sam, who contacted me and he wanted me to make it because he has some important things to say and he has me saying some other important advice. So first of all, let's make an introduction. Sam is 20 years old, like I already said. He's a virgin, he's 5'8", which is short, and I'm really positively surprised that he understands that. Good job, Sam. And he has realized that he's a beta and his job is to worship and provide for goddesses. And he also added that all of the men from those mental ill movements such as MGTO, which is a coping movement essentially, are in fact secretly conflicted and they would want to worship a goddess if they had the chance to meet her, but in public they have a different fake face. I agree with you, Sam. I believe most of those men are a textbook case of sour grapes, that they can't get the women they want. And they're not mature enough to estimate what's really going on and to see if they're capable of ascending with red pill or becoming beta with black pill. So it's kind of the "you can't fire me because I quit" situation, that they feel that by choosing to live pretty much a hermit lifestyle and hoard wealth, if they can have wealth, that they win, which is not a win. But anyway, let's stay on point. Sam wanted me to tell you how to be a good beta provider. And I think this is a topic that many are interested in. So today we're going to talk about some very important points. Number one, accepting that you're beta, you can't be anything else, that was your destiny in this life, and deciding to embrace it. I'm saying this because I have so many men contacting me and struggling with internal conflict and saying, am I alpha, am I beta? I always feel that I do not belong, and hurting themselves in the process. The cold truth is that it's impossible for short men with small penises who live with their mom at age 55 and they can't make ends meet and they're ugly as sin to be seen as alpha. And we live in a very toxic society, very abnormal society, because there is nothing wrong with being beta. Men have been beta for thousands of years, and they were scientists who advanced humanity. They were eunuchs who guarded emperors and princesses. They were scholars. There were so many things. They were men who actually raised families and children. But the last 50 years, society came. It actually demolished differences among people. That's what they want us to be. And they're trying to promote only one dream, only one stereotype, only one appearance, because it profits them. And as a result, you suffer. So today, if you want to be a beta provider, it's time to say fuck you to society and to accept that you're not going to be that and it's fine. Not in a way of MGTO say that I'm not going to do it and I'm cool, but I choose freedom over enslavement, because you are enslaved, trying to be alpha, going on dates with women and hurting yourself. I say this because there are many men who contact me and they say I can land dates on Tinder and the moment women see my penis, they're gone. Or I don't have anyone swiping on me on Tinder, or women just look at me and go away. It's time to free yourself from all of this soul cancer. Of course, that's easier said than done. There is always an original grief period where you mourn for the man that you wanted to be or they told you wanted to be and you can never be. And there is also an anger period when you realize that what a load of crap and why has everyone been lying to you. And by everyone, I mean females in your family as well. Your mom, your sisters, female friends who say, oh, you're going to find someone one day, you're such a nice guy. If you were so nice and so good enough for them, they would date you right here, right now. Do you think they would say that to a guy who is 6 feet tall and he turns heads and he has a 9-inch dick? Do you think they would say, oh, you would find someone? He would be married and they would be wrecking his marriage to get them for themselves. So the first step towards becoming an efficient beta provider is going through those stages. And they take time. It's not a linear process. You may have setbacks, but it's okay. And reaching a point of acceptance. I mean, going through the grief, going through the anger, and accepting that you are okay as you are right now. You're good enough as you are right now, and society is no longer trying to force you on someone else's shoes. I say this because one of the most destructive things you can do to yourself and to others is alternate between being beta and failing to be alpha. I have people like that, and I always end up dismissing them in a very ugly way, that they come to me to help them accept themselves, and then they go through the next course that is going to help them to be alpha, the next penis enlarger, the next magic pill, and then they come crawling back, and essentially I don't have time for their bullshit. So once you make up your mind and you feel sure that this is it, you have completed the first step. The next and important one is understand what kind of lifestyle you want. There are men who want to share goddesses and be on the fiendom/femdom lifestyle. There are men who still want to be married and have a family and companionship. In this case, I suggest finding a woman who already has children. If you have subhuman genes, such as micropenises, being 3 feet tall, coming from families where everyone looked like the Gollum, the non-edited version, you don't need to procreate. Not everyone needs to procreate. Also, you cannot compete with men over women who are single, young, and pretty. So it's time to lower your standards and settle for many things that actually being a beta provider gives you, such as companionship, affection, a woman who has been through enough Chad and alpha men who broke her heart and now she's going to appreciate you. She has a good head on her shoulders, and so on. Decide, because both of them are very different lifestyle. Each of them has their own good points and bad points. Essentially, it all breaks down to what you want. I'm not going to say that A is better than B because it's subjective. But in both cases, you're going to get a vasectomy ASAP. For what reason? The first reason that I mentioned, you don't need to procreate, and it's time you should be removed from the gene pool already. And this is another brain embolo from society, that everyone needs to have children, and results in ugly people having ugly children, poor people having children they cannot afford, and people say you're just an evil eugenicist. I don't care. I've seen how it is, and there are plenty of people who ended up shooting schools, becoming mass murderers, committing suicide because their parents had kids for one reason. They were expected to have kids, or other people pressured them, and they didn't want the kids. So you're going to break this circle. If you had a micropenis and if you're lacking in any way, break it. You don't need to pass those subhuman genes. Find a woman who has already healthy, beautiful kids and needs support, and support her. And the people who say this is cuckoldry, okay, if you think that, for example, marrying a widow whose husband died is cuckoldry, if you think adopting a kid is cuckoldry, then I'm sorry for you. Not every case is the same. And I know they twist what I say, because I never said find an STD-ridden prostitute with 13 children from different men who hits them and involve yourself in that mess. That would be indeed fucked up, both for you and for everyone involved. But finding a woman who has, let's say, one child from one unfortunate relationship and being the right role model for the child, for me that's admirable. And the MGTOs who say that, bye, I don't have time. Thing number 3, how are your finances? Time to get educated on finances. Getting a job is paramount. If you don't have a job, you get one right now. You can't be a provider without anything to provide. Okay, you understand that. If you have a job, get a second job or a side job, or start your own business, or start something that brings you a side income. I'm saying this because once you get into the lifestyle, you are expected to have money at all times. And not only from a goddess, because as a good goddess who has multiple paychecks, I wouldn't care less if someone doesn't have money this week or the other week, but if you choose the lifestyle of being married and having kids, you can't say, oh, wait, fuck, I got fired, so I'm sorry, I have nothing to provide. You need to have a lot of money coming in to be efficient, and to give also reason to the women to stay with you. So I have a lot of financial advice on my channel. You can always read more books, you can always do your own research, you can always ask people to mentor you if you know any rich, successful people, not your dad who makes 200 a month and brags. And you have to get into saving, planning, investing, and a bunch of stuff that usually you do not know. From my experience, and it's very unfortunate and very toxic, most beta men fail to be providers because their family has no idea about finances. Financially literate is a real thing. Most people don't know simply because no one taught them. But it's never too late to educate yourselves. Like I said, you can leave any question you have under in the comment section, and we are going to have it answered sooner or later. So making a lot of money is extremely important. That's your role in this life, to provide. Thing number 4. This is secondary, but I'm going to mention it in this video because it's important. Once you get into this, self-improvement should be your goal in life. By self-improvement, I mean not being a person who is embarrassing to themselves and everyone around them. So if you want to serve a goddess, you can always watch my videos on how to be a better pay pig, how to not be needy, to not be clingy, to not be emotionally manipulative. If you have autism or other problems, I'm not going to say that autism is exactly a problem, but in a neurotypical society that we live in, it can be. It's time to learn skills. If you can afford cognitive behavioral therapy, by all means go. I'm saying this because, like I said, if you're interested in long-term relationships, long-term servitude, a goddess that is going to meet you in real life, you can't be embarrassing her. If you're married to a woman or dating a woman with kids, you can't go to take the kids from the school and the kids to tell you, please don't come anymore because other people laugh at me. So you're going to need, ideally, a general makeover, learning to dress in a decent way, to behave in a decent way, solving your problems, and setting an example not just for yourself, but for other beta men who want to reach what you want to reach. I'm saying this because I see a movement here that I really want to promote of men being openly beta and not feeling bad about it. I mean, it's just a different way of being. What's wrong with it? Do you really think that society would actually function if everyone was some kind of 6 foot tall psychopath, serial killer, drug seller who is actually fucking multiple women and killing each other? It would collapse. That's just a pipe dream. And all of the pickup artist schemes that you have been wasting your money and time on, essentially they are teaching you artificial psychopathy. That's what they do. They are teaching you to be aggressive, to be charming, to lie to women, to present a false front, to be sexually doing cold approach, like more aggressive as well. So all of this is artificial psychopathy. Either you're born a psychopath or you're raised with psychopaths, or you're not, and it's time to abandon toxicity. I'm saying this because there is a lot of sociopath versus psychopath talk, and people very often ask me my opinion. Do you think psychopath and sociopath, what are the differences? I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe they are really different. I mean, sure, you can read lists with differences, but every person that I know that has been psychopathic or sociopathic is surrounded by others who also have the same traits, family members, friends, so they were raised that way. And I don't believe that it's good to spend your life, to waste your life pretending to be something you are not. I had men who were beta and managed to get relationships by faking being alpha, and they told me that they were exhausted, miserable, suffocated, and eventually the relationship failed because either the woman saw through their bullshit and their lying, or they got burned out. So it's much more pleasurable for everyone involved and long-term effective if you are who you are from the get-go, okay? And I don't want you to feel bad. I'm saying it here that I'm a very pro-beta channel in a sense of do what works for you. I know that the losers and the incel communities and the Asian incel communities say, of course, you support them because they pay you. Show me one person that hates those who pay them, I would say, number one. And number two, I believe in being yourself and not abuse others, yourself, and lie in the process. So there are people who are going to be beta, and I support that. I support freedom of choice, not just accepting what society forced on you without even having a say. Okay, thank you for watching.